If you guys enjoyed Friday Night SmackDown tonight, I did. I thought SmackDown tonight was a good show. But if you thought that SmackDown was a good show tonight, I need you guys to hit that like button as hard as you possibly can. I thought SmackDown tonight was a good show. I'm not gonna lie to you. We got some WrestleMania build going on, but I have this one specific question. I'm probably gonna get hate for this, and at the same time, I really don't care. When is Kevin Owens going to eventually team up with Sami Zayn? Like we know it's gonna happen. We know it is, but when? Are they going to announce it on Monday night, where Raw is taking place in Providence, Rhode Island, or are they going to take place on SmackDown on Friday in Kansas City, Missouri? Or are they going to do this on the go-home show of Raw before WrestleMania, or the go-home show on SmackDown before WrestleMania? I feel like, in my honest opinion, and let me know down below in the comment section, I honestly feel like they're just dragging it. I just honestly feel like they're fucking dragging this. I don't know why I feel like this, but in my honest opinion, this match should have been announced after the Elimination Chamber. At least after. That's just me. I don't know, but the longer they drag this, to be honest, the less I'm gonna care. Because yeah, you know, Sami KO beating the Usos at WrestleMania sounds like a WrestleMania moment, but you feel like by now it should have been announced by now. Again, we're 3 weeks away to WrestleMania, and we're not getting Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to like coexist now. This should have happened either tonight or should have happened on Raw Monday. Now I ask, when is it going to happen? They have 3 weeks to go till they do this. Listen, I care about this storyline between Kevin and Sami and the Bloodline. I care about it. I do, don't get me wrong. Sami and KO deserve their WrestleMania moment. But the longer that they're just going to prevent Kevin Owens from teaming up with Sami, the less I'm going to care. And I know some people in the community are going to feel the exact same way. I thought SmackDown tonight was a good show. I thought so. We had a lot of in-ring action on the show tonight, and you know, some WrestleMania build. I finally seen how Rhea and Charlotte are finally cutting a promo. Rhea finally said something to Charlotte. Wow. But again, is it for me to care? Again, Rhea better beat Charlotte at WrestleMania for the SmackDown Women's Championship. She better win. We're gonna go over everything on the show tonight, right here for your Friday, March 10th, 2023. If you guys don't know who I am Chris. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into the channel. If you guys thought that SmackDown was a good show tonight, hit that like button. Leave a comment down below your thoughts of the show tonight. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below. Turn that bell, guys, for all notifications. Raw review from this past Monday is live on the channel right now, as well as SmackDown review from this past Friday. Link to both of these videos will be in the annotation that you see on the upper hand corner of your screen, as well as down below in the description. Make sure you guys are following me on social media, Twitter and TikTok at The Real Chris. 2 E's on the, 2 S's on Chris. My links to my social media will be down below in the description as well. And if you're new to the channel and if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button down below and turn that bell, guys, for all notifications. I'm going to do the same thing that I did on Raw Monday. I'm going to just say the match, go over it, give you guys my thoughts on it. I'm not going to go back move for move here. I'm just going to say the match, give you guys my opinions on it, and then move on from there. So the show opened up with a video package covering the last beats of the ongoing Bloodline saga dating back to last Monday on Raw. Paul Heyman greets the Usos as they arrive at the show. He's all smiles for Jey, but he just wants to see Roman Reigns. Paul cuts him off with a hug and tells him the tribal chief is so proud, and so is he. Jey says when he finds out where Roman is, he should tell him he's here. Now, we did not get Roman Reigns at all on this show tonight. Mind you, there was a report going on today that there was a segment between Roman and Jey Uso confirmed for this show tonight. Jey showed up, but Roman didn't. Where is Roman? We're 3 weeks away to WrestleMania, folks. Where the fuck is Roman? Roman should be showing up on every SmackDown between now and WrestleMania. Build the match up with Cody. Simple as that. My only gripe on this show tonight was that Roman was not here. It should be Roman confronting Jey about what Jey has been doing, that he's not in the bloodline, instead of Jey explaining himself, which I don't mind. Roman should be confronting Jey on what's going on. Again, I didn't mind that Jey Uso in the last bit of the show tonight came out to the ring and explained himself. I didn't mind that. But Roman should be on the show tonight to confront Jey Uso. So an interview rolls up, then Jey says he'll say everything he needs to say in the middle of the ring tonight, which you got at the end of the show. Jimmy, as a Caleb Braxton should go talk to Cody Rhodes and ask him why he's all up in the Bloodline's business if she wants to be nosy. Now, Jimmy's got a point, but then again, Cody did win the Royal Rumble, so he has all the right in the world to annoy Roman Reigns. He has the right. He won the Rumble back in January. He won the men's Royal Rumble match. So SmackDown kicked off tonight with a fatal five-way. Drew McIntyre, Karrion Kross, LA Knight, Sheamus, and Xavier Woods. Now, it was supposed to be Kofi, but Kofi suffered an injury on SmackDown last week, so Xavier Woods took Kofi's spot. Which again, I don't mind. I love Xavier Woods in the ring. I love Xavier Woods in the ring. He's so good in the ring. So I ain't mind this here. Fatal five-way to determine who faces Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. This was a great TV match for the time that they got. Drew looked good. Karrion Kross looked okay. LA Knight looked great. Sheamus looked great. Xavier looked okay. He looked good as well there. But the ending of this matchup really got me scratching my head here. I'm like, okay, it's a fatal five-way. Either Sheamus wins, or some way, somehow, WWE is going to book Drew McIntyre and Sheamus to pin two opponents at the same time, and then from there is a whole clusterfuck. Which one did we get? We got the second one. Drew McIntyre and Sheamus win by pinfall with a Claymore on LA Knight and a brogue kick on Xavier Woods, respectively, leaving us unsure of who gets the number one contender spot against Gunther at WrestleMania. In my honest opinion, I think they did the right thing here. Because you sit there and you think about it. Sheamus wins this matchup alone. He gets Gunther at WrestleMania. What is Drew McIntyre doing at WrestleMania? What is LA Knight doing at WrestleMania? Yeah. I asked that question because you can't leave LA Knight out of the card. You certainly can't leave Drew McIntyre out of the card. Now, I know there's people in the community that hate Drew McIntyre, but I don't. Drew McIntyre, in my honest opinion, got fucked. I've been saying this since I've been back on YouTube. Drew McIntyre got fucked because of the COVID-19 pandemic. He got fucked. Out of everybody else on the roster, he got fucked the most. That's just the truth. But I don't mind that they did this ending here. I don't mind. Because you think about this for a second. We could possibly get Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre versus Gunther in a triple threat match at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. Take my fucking money. The match should be a banger of a banger of a banger of a fucking banger. But what we got during the show, which still makes me think that, okay, we could get the triple threat match at WrestleMania, but then again, we possibly might not. What am I talking about? Find out in the review. Like I said, the fatal 5-way match was good. It was really, really good for what it was. Everybody got their shit in. I loved. They need to build up Karrion Kross more. What the fuck is LA Knight doing at WrestleMania? And Xavier Woods, I don't know what he's doing at WrestleMania. Now, I was thinking, okay, Sheamus wins here. He gets gooped at WrestleMania. We could possibly see Drew McIntyre versus LA Knight or Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross at WrestleMania. Now, I wouldn't mind either of those two matches for Drew, but Drew needs to be in a significant match at WrestleMania. I don't mind that he could possibly be in the IC title match at WrestleMania to make it a triple threat. I wouldn't mind that at all. Again, it would be a banger of a banger of a banger of a banger of a banger match. I just don't know what creative, or should I say management, is doing here. But Drew and Sheamus win. Now is a whole complete clusterfuck between Drew and Sheamus. Referees and wrestlers argue afterwards while the crowd chants for a triple threat. They were legitimately chanting triple threat. Again, give me that match at WrestleMania. Paul Heyman is interviewed backstage. He's distracted and admits he wasn't paying attention to a question about Jey Uso and decides to talk about Cody Rhodes, saying that Roman's been champion for 1,000 days, well, almost 1,000 days. And every time a new challenger comes along, he talks to Paul about how to handle them. They do it like gangsters, play mind games so that the opponent is beaten before they even get in the ring, or do they tell the truth that the Bloodline are the greatest of all time? That's a little bit of a stretch. Now, if you was to ask me right now, Chris, who I think is the greatest faction of all time, I could give you two. I could give you Evolution. I love Evolution. And I could say the NWO. I could say, or I could say the Shield. You can also say the Shield. Sure. And he'll be honest, Cody Rhodes is a stylistic nightmare, and the one man he never wanted to see against Reigns. And Roman said the most gangster thing they could do to him is smash him with the truth. Because the truth will put emotional baggage on Cody such that when he walks into the ring at WrestleMania, he'll already be beaten. And then the only story left for Rhodes to tell will be when he takes his shoulders off the mat after being pinned. And then he has to take the time and place when he finally acknowledges his tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Listen, Paul Heyman on the microphone, he's, in my opinion, the greatest of all time on the microphone. Is Paul Heyman. He's going to fucking sell you chicken shit so you can buy chicken shit. Telling you, that's how much Paul Heyman commands your attention. When he has a microphone, you sit down, you shut the fuck up, and you listen to the man speak. That's how great Paul Heyman is. Commentary promises us our first inductee to the 2023 Hall of Fame class. So we go to commercial break. Coming back for commercial break, we get a recap of our opening match, which is the Fatal 5-Way. We cut to Drew McIntyre and Sheamus loudly arguing about it backstage as Rich Holland and Pete Dunne, I will not call him Butch, try to calm them down. Then from there, we find out that Rey Mysterio is announced as our first inductee into the 2023 WWE Hall of Fame class. Well deserved. Absolutely well deserved, 100%. Listen, I know it's, in my honest opinion, is long overdue. Just like Taker last year. Taker's Hall of Fame induction was long overdue. Long overdue. I feel the same way about Rey. Because Rey's been in the business for what? Almost 30 years? In the business somehow almost 30 years? Rey is the greatest luchador in my honest opinion of all time. My favorite feud of Rey Mysterio was him and Eddie in 2005 when they fought for quote-unquote custody of Dominik Mysterio, a very young Dominik Mysterio at SummerSlam 2005 in Washington, D.C. Rey is one of my all-time favorites when it comes to, his style of wrestling, being the underdog. He's the greatest underdog ever. I love Rey. There's not a bad thing you can say about Rey Mysterio. In my opinion, he's one of the all-time greats. He's one of my all-time favorites, and I'm glad that he's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. I know somewhere in heaven, I know Eddie is smiling down on Rey that he's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, the same Hall of Fame that Eddie is in. I know somewhere in heaven, Eddie is smiling from ear to ear. So Rey makes his entrance and gets on the mic and talk about it. You knew the second that Rey grabbed that microphone, you knew Dominik was not that far off. Before Rey could even say a word, out comes Judgment Day. And I told myself, holy fucking shit. Dominik is playing the heel role so fucking good. It's almost impossible to talk shit about Dominik. That's how great he is as a heel. He's that good. So Dominik comes out, gets on the mic, and calls his father pathetic and says he's a washed-up old man being inducted into the Hall of Fame. He says Rhea Ripley was right, and he's ashamed to be Rey's son. I'm telling you, man, Dominik as a heel, fucking fantastic. Out comes Legado Del Fantasma. Santos Escobar says Rey may have let go of what Dom did last week, but he hasn't. Legado and Judgment Day are supposed to have a match later tonight, but he wants to fight now. Referee Jason Ayers runs down to officiate, but we go to commercial break before the bell has officially been rung. Listen, I like how they blended that, Rey getting inducted, to Dominik coming out, to Legado del Fantasma coming out, to set up their original scheduled 6-man tag. I like that. It flowed really nicely. I'm not going to lie to you about that. So back to commercial break. News broke earlier this week, and I'm really excited for this. Back to commercial break, we get some hype for Backlash being held in Puerto Rico this year in May. The first Saturday of May, which I believe is May 6th, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's May 6th. Backlash will be held in San Juan, Puerto Rico. WWE's first pay-per-view in Puerto Rico since 2005, when they had New Year's Revolution in Puerto Rico in 2005. Listen, one thing that I will say about Puerto Rico for sure, it's been a long time coming for Puerto Rico. Listen, after everything they've been through with the pandemic and the natural disaster that happened to them just a while ago, they've been through a lot. And for Hunter to put Backlash in Puerto Rico, let me tell you, that show is going to be fucking amazing. Just by the energy of that crowd alone. If there's one thing that I love so far about Triple H, since he's taken over creative for World Wrestling Entertainment, is that he listens to the fans. One thing that I love about what Triple H did was he's bringing the pay-per-view, outside the U.S. Yes, we know Puerto Rico is part of the United States. That's a U.S. territory. Don't give me shit for it. I know my stuff. But with Vince, back then, when Vince was running the company, we would only get shows, either in the States or in Saudi Arabia. Hunter has been giving us shows since he took over back in July. He's been giving us shows in the UK. We're getting a Backlash in Puerto Rico. Who knows when we're getting another, international show. I love, how when Wrestling Entertainment has their shows outside the U.S. Yeah, sure, it's nice to have them in the States every single year. But I want them to go more international. Like, the UK, Wales, that they fucking went to. Saudi Arabia once or twice a year. I don't mind that. Go more international. But one thing I would love to fucking have one day, if there's one or two places that deserves a WrestleMania, one, the UK, 110% the UK. Did you see that crowd back at fucking Clash at the Castle? That crowd was on fire all night. Can you imagine a WrestleMania in the UK? In Wales? Oh my God. That crowd by itself would fucking make the whole show be good. The UK, and on top of that, another place that they could have WrestleMania, Canada. Prime example, Montreal. Back in February at the Elimination Chamber show, that crowd was hot all night. Hot all night. Listen, I wouldn't mind a show once in a while, maybe in DR, or maybe in Mexico. Cuba, you can do Cuba if you want. Or go back to Canada, or go to the UK. The UK is having a pay-per-view, and I can start about this too. The UK is having a pay-per-view in, July? Money in the Bank. Can you imagine how that show's going to be? How the UK is going to have? How the UK is going to be at that show for Money in the Bank? It should be a banger of a show. Based on that energy from the crowd alone. Should be one hell of a show. So I love that idea that World Wrestling Entertainment is going back to Puerto Rico for the first time since 2005 for Backlash. I don't mind it at all. Listen, if the Yankees weren't here, and I believe the Yankees are in town that weekend. I believe so. Let me look at the Yankees schedule real quick. Because I want to see if the Yankees are in town. If the Yankees are not in town for that, I kind of might want to make my attention go. May 6th, they play again. Yeah, but then again, the possibility of NYCFC. Yeah. I mean, I might think about going to that show. I might think about going to Puerto Rico for that show. I might think about it. I don't know. But let me guys know down below in the comment section what you think. Backlash in Puerto Rico. Do you like it or do you not? So we get Judgment Day, Damien Priest, Dominik Mysterio, and Finn Balor versus Legado del Fantasma, Crus del Toro, Joaquin Wilde, and Santos Escobar. This match was good. Listen. I love Judgment Day. I really do. When Vince was in charge, Judgment Day would be complete fucking be booked to shit. Ever since Triple H took over, their stock has been up. Their stock has been increasingly high. And with the rumors going around that they might add a 5th member after WrestleMania, who could that be? Is it somebody from NXT? I would love to see somebody from NXT join Judgment Day. Maybe somebody who Finn Balor trained. I wouldn't mind it. Just saying. But this 6-man tag team match was good for what it was. It was really good. Not gonna lie to you. A lot of great in-ring action in this match tonight. A lot. It was really, really good. But Judgment Day wins. I mean, you're not gonna have Judgment Day lose. You're not gonna have Judgment Day lose. Especially with what Finn has going possibly at WrestleMania. With what Rhea's having at WrestleMania. Again, Judgment Day is building a lot of momentum. And I like that. So Judgment Day wins by pinfall with a leg strap inside cradle from Dominik Mysterio on Crus del Toro. So Dominik picks up the victory for Judgment Day. Post-match, this is where things got interesting here. Post-match, Dom gets on the mic and taunts his dad some more, saying he wants to have a man-to-man, heart-to-heart with him, and asking his Judgment Day pals to clear the ring. He tells Rey the only Hall of Fame you should be in is the Deadbeat Dad Hall of Fame, and it should have been Eddie Guerrero's son. Whoa. Wow. Dominik, holy shit. Mysterio the Elder begs his son to listen, but Dominik shoves him into the ropes and taunts him, begging him to fight. Rey has a low bridge for him when he charges, and Dom screams at him, but he still refuses to fight his son. Dominik said, let me repeat what Dominik just said here. He said he should have been Eddie Guerrero's son. That instantly, 110% took me back to their feud in 2005 between Rey and Eddie after they broke up. I remember they fought at WrestleMania 21 in Los Angeles, by the way. In Los Angeles, by the way. I think Rey beat Eddie at that show at WrestleMania 21. If I'm not mistaken, I think Rey beat Eddie at that show. I remember also they were tag team champions, and they broke up eventually. I believe a couple of months after that. That's when they broke up. And that's when Dominik came into the picture, and they fought for custody at SummerSlam in a ladder match, which of course Rey won. I love how Dominik brought this up with Eddie, because it's continuity. If there's one thing I love about storytelling, it's continuity. I love how Dominik brought this up because the simple fact that he's trying to get to Rey's head as if he already is already. If anything, he's in there more with what he said. Now, again, I said this with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. When are you booking Rey and Dominik for WrestleMania? Or unless you're doing a tag team match with Rey and Santos against Dominik and Damien Priest. Because I got to ask the question, what is Damien Priest doing at WrestleMania? What is Santos Escobar doing at WrestleMania? You might as well put those two in together, blend them in to this Rey and Dominik story, and make it a tag team match. I wouldn't mind it. I said this last week, and I'm going to say it again this week on SmackDown. I wouldn't mind a Rey and Dominik one-on-one match, and I wouldn't mind a tag team match with Rey and Santos against Dominik and Damien Priest. That way, all of Judgment Day at least get a match at WrestleMania. Rhea's fighting Charlotte, Finn is fighting Edge, hopefully inside Hell in a Cell, which we'll probably find out on Raw Monday night. And Priest and Dominik at least get in the show by fighting Rey and Santos. I wouldn't mind it at all. Again, as long as it's good, I don't mind. And as long as it makes sense, I wouldn't mind it either. We're going to break with a Top Gun vignette between Miz and Maurice. Back for commercial break, Adam Pearce comes across Charlotte Flair backstage. She asks if he's having a rough day at work or he's just unhappy to see her. Trust me, I would be unhappy to see you. I would rather much have a rough day at work than see you. He says he's always happy to see her. She asks for a match, and he says he'll find her a worthy opponent. Who's Charlotte's opponent for SmackDown tonight? Find out. We get Braun Strowman and Ricochet against the Viking Raiders. Erik and Ivar of the Viking Raiders. Listen, this tag team match was good. Listen, this tag team match was fucking awesome. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, we got the Viking Raiders against Ricochet and Strowman. You take out Strowman out of the equation and you bring back Aleister Black, a.k.a. Malachi Black, who's currently in AEW. And we get an NXT TakeOver New York rematch all over again. This tag team match was very, very good. Hard hitting. This match was awesome. This was the best match of the night, in my honest opinion. This was the best match of the entire evening. Now, Viking Raiders win by pinfall with a 747 splash from Ivar to Ricochet. This tag team match was very, very good for what it was. Just seeing Ricochet and the Viking Raiders in the same sentence in a tag team match really brings me back to NXT TakeOver New York at Barclays Center, WrestleMania 35 weekend. I was in attendance for that show, and in my honest opinion, that's the greatest NXT Black and Gold tag team match of all time. Yeah, sure, you got DIY versus The Revival back at TakeOver Toronto 2016. That, in my opinion, is the second greatest tag team match of all time. But Aleister Black and Ricochet versus the Viking Raiders for the NXT Tag Team Championships at NXT TakeOver New York at Barclays Center, in my opinion, is the greatest NXT tag team match of all time. That's just me. That's the greatest tag team match in NXT history. Black and Gold NXT history. I was in attendance that night. I got goosebumps, let me tell you. It was a fucking classic. And if you haven't watched it, go watch it back. Because let me tell you, it's fucking worth it. This match tonight, between Strowman and Ricochet versus the Viking Raiders, gave me a little bit of that vibe. Gave me just a tad bit of TakeOver New York type vibe. Just, again, take out Strowman and give me back Aleister Black. And you have that matchup all over again. Honestly. I loved it. This match was great. Viking Raiders win, as they should. Keep up the momentum. Because eventually, when Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn win the tag team titles, the first team in line for those titles should honestly be the Viking Raiders. Should be. They're that great of a tag team. They're that great. Imperium backstage with Adam Pearce. Gunther chews him out, pointing out that challenger is singular, and he knows the difference between challenger and challengers, even though English isn't his first language. He said the dedication of his duties cannot be tolerated, and Pearce says he's going to solve it by making a match between Drew McIntyre and Sheamus next week to determine a challenger. Singular. I'm looking at this segment and I'm thinking to myself, why? 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 Why are you giving me next week in Kansas City Drew McIntyre and Sheamus to become the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Champion by that point, 2 weeks to WrestleMania? Why you couldn't just announce a triple threat match at that point? Why didn't you announce that to be a triple threat? Why? Gunther's a great champion. Don't get me wrong. I love Gunther. But can you imagine, like I said earlier, can you imagine Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre in a triple threat? What are we doing here? Now, for what I'm predicting next week, now I could be in the wrong here. I could be in the wrong here. Two things could possibly happen. Either we get the match next week and Sheamus legitimately beats Drew McIntyre next week, or Gunther and Imperium come into the matchup and fuck up both McIntyre and Sheamus, and Adam Pearce is going to announce a triple threat for WrestleMania. Meanwhile, we could have gotten that announcement tonight on this Pacific show. I guarantee you, either one of those two things happen next week. I guarantee you. Charlotte Flair makes her entrance. We go back to commercial break. Charlotte Flair's waiting in the ring for her opponent, and it's Shotzi Blackheart. I kid you not. When this match was going on my television, I was playing Fortnite. The new season, Chapter 4, Season 2 of Fortnite, while this match was going on my TV. I told myself, yup, Charlotte Flair's in the ring, she has a match, she's not losing at all, to at least to WrestleMania, so why the fuck you didn't bother watching this match? I played a solo, got 15 kills, got a dub. Got a win. My first solo win in Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 2. That gave me more entertainment than a Charlotte Flair match. Seriously. I'm being that ass here. Charlotte wins with the figure 8 against Shotzi Blackheart. You knew from that point Charlotte is not losing at all to WrestleMania. Champions should not be losing on live television. But Ripley, Rhea Ripley, was out on ringside by the commentary side watching Charlotte's match. So post-match, Ripley gets in the ring with the microphone in hand. Flair asks her what she has to say, and Rhea tells her to wipe that smug look off her face because she sees all of Charlotte's insecurities in her eyes. At WrestleMania, she's going to take the one thing that makes Flair feel so important when she becomes a new SmackDown Women's Champion. Charlotte says she's improved every single day of her life, and some love her for it, and others don't. I don't. But it's fact. She wants it more, and she'll outwork anyone because she takes this business seriously. Yeah, okay. Everything's been handed to you, honey. And on top of that, out of all your women's championship reigns, none of them are fucking memorable. So yeah, sure. You take the business seriously. Yeah, sure. And Ripley will rip apart anyone that gets in her way except her. Listen. Mark my words here. If Rhea Ripley does not beat Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania for the SmackDown Women's Championship, I will have a fit. I will have a fit. When I have this review, I will have a fit. Yeah, I got people on social media saying, oh, Charlotte and Rhea should main event WrestleMania Night 1. No. Listen, don't get me wrong. I'm all for equality for men and women. Don't get me wrong. But not for this specific match. I'm probably going to get hate for it. At the same time, I don't care, but it's my opinion. Charlotte and Rhea Ripley should not main event WrestleMania Night 1. And I'll tell you why. Just because Rhea Ripley won the Royal Rumble doesn't mean she gets the main event WrestleMania. You know how many times a person won the Royal Rumble and did not main event WrestleMania? So what makes you think Rhea Ripley is that special enough to main event WrestleMania? Don't get me wrong. I love Rhea. Don't get me wrong here. I think she's great. Don't get me wrong here. Don't mix up my words. But just because Ripley won the Royal Rumble doesn't give her the right to main event Night 1 of WrestleMania. There's other storylines that are important than Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley for WrestleMania for a main event. I'd rather have Jimmy and Jey Uso against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships to main event Night 1 of WrestleMania over Rhea and Charlotte. If anything, you have them kick off Night 1 or Night 2, whatever match you want it to be, as long as they don't main event the show. And let me tell you this for a kicker. And let me tell you this right now. Again, I'll probably get hate for this, but I don't care. What makes you think that Charlotte picked Rhea to win the Royal Rumble? There were some reports out there that Charlotte was pushing Rhea to win the Royal Rumble so that way Charlotte can main event at WrestleMania. You want to know why she picked that? Because she could be the first woman in women's history, in women company history, to main event not one, but 2 WrestleManias. She main event the match between Ronda, Becky, and Charlotte at WrestleMania 35. Look how that match ended up being fucking terrible. One of the worst WrestleMania matches of all time. Tell me in this whole situation where I'm lying to you. Where? That's just me. And I'm sure there's people out there that actually agree with that. If you don't agree, still God bless you. But you can't sit there and tell me that that Charlotte takes his business seriously when none of her title reigns are fucking memorable. I guarantee you, out of all of Charlotte's women's championship reigns, not one was memorable. Not one. Not one. Tell me, where am I lying to you in this? Let me know where. Let me know. We see the Usos working together backstage as we go to commercial break. This is the end of the show, by the way, here. Back from commercial break, commentary hypes up next week's show. The Usos make their entrance as we get a recap of the events of Raw this past Monday. Jimmy starts talking, saying the Usos are back together and the Bloodline is in your city. Jay says the big question of the whole week and pauses just long enough for Sami chance to start over Pittsburgh. People have asked him why he betrays Sami Zayn like that, and it gets visibly emotional. This is when I love Jey Uso here. He waits a long beat before asking us to switch roles and step into his shoes and ask what we do. Your family's car breaks down, you give them a ride. They get groceries, you feed them. Their power's gonna get shut off, you pay the bill. He did because he had to. Simple. He didn't want to do it, but he had no choice, and he never had a choice because Jimmy is his blood. His twin brother and his family. Not Sami or any of us. You want to blame him? You don't know what he goes through. We sit in the stands or in our living room and we don't know what he's going through. There's one person he blames, and that's Sami Zayn. His brother was about to get clipped. What was he supposed to do? Sami's selfish. He claims all he had to do was fall in line, but he didn't know anything about that because his ass ain't blood and he never will be. Exactly what Kevin Owens said on Monday Night Raw many, many months ago. Jimmy says since they got rid of the Sami Zayn problem, Cody Rhodes is the only problem left. What about Kevin Owens? What about Kevin Owens? Oh yeah, you did that at the Royal Rumble. My apologies. He asked what Cody's issue is. Cody's on SmackDown. His theme music hits the PA system. He says he keeps hearing his name, and if you want to talk about him, talk to him. They said they answer to Roman Reigns. Well, he doesn't. He answers to the fans, and it sounds like they don't want to hear them talk. They'd rather see him fight, Cody says. Jimmy tells him if he takes one more step, he's not going to make it to WrestleMania, and Cody takes his jacket and tie off and steps forward. Out of nowhere, Sami Zayn is here with a double leg into mounted punches on Jay. Cody gets in there, and we got a brawl. Sami takes Jimmy to the announce table as Jay and Cody fight into the crowd. Cody's got his shirt off, but Jimmy cuts him off. Sami's not far behind, and the brawl continues. Sami sends Jay over the barricade and into the ring. He and Cody clear the ring and stand tall. Referees and road agents hold the Usos back, as from there the show goes off the air, with Cody raising Sami Zayn's hand up in victory as the show from there goes off the air. This was a good segment here. Jey Uso just basically flat out said it. Sami, you're not blood, and you never will be. Kevin Owens said the exact same thing months ago when Sami was trying to join the blood. Actually, the Raw after Survivor Series was when Kevin Owens told Sami Zayn, you're not blood to these people, and you never will be. Jey Uso said the exact same thing. Jay sounded convincing. He just had... I'm happy that Jey Uso came out and just explained himself straight up. You can't hate the man for it. He fucked up Sami Zayn on Monday. Everybody saw it from a mile away. Jay comes to SmackDown tonight, explains himself. Good. But where the fuck is Reigns at? Where the fuck is Roman Reigns in this whole situation? Wasn't it Roman the guy that was pissed at Jay because Jay wouldn't show up when Roman asked him to? I get that Reigns is the tribal chief, the head of the table. I get that. But you're supposed to keep your family in check. That's the whole point of being the tribal chief, the head of the table. The whole point is for you to keep your family in check. Roman didn't keep check on Jey Uso. He didn't. Now, I asked the question. We're 3 weeks away from WrestleMania. We all know that Jimmy and Jey are going to defend the tag team titles probably against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. My question is, when is Kevin Owens going to align himself with Sami Zayn? Again, you have 3 weeks left to WrestleMania. 3 weeks. When is this going to happen? Because you know it's going to happen. You know Kevin Owens is going to eventually come in and team up with Sami Zayn. I ask when. Do we get it on Raw in Providence, Rhode Island this Monday night? Do we get it on SmackDown next Friday night in Kansas City? When? Because by the way it looks at things, Kevin Owens is dragging this. Now, I didn't see this on Raw this past Monday. When Elias and Rick Boogs was having their segment backstage, Cody and Kevin Owens was talking. And they were, by the look of things, they were screaming at each other in the background when Elias and Rick Boogs was having a segment. Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes are there visibly just talking to each other and arguing with each other. Could that be in play? I got somebody telling me on Twitter, oh, what if Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn take on the Usos? No. That's not Cody's fight. It's against the Bloodline. His fight is against Roman. Kevin and Sami's fight is against the Bloodline. Kevin and Sami's fight is against the Usos. That's their fight. That's their fight. Now, if I'm predicting this, we're probably going to get a 6-man tag between the Usos and Solo versus Cody, Kevin, and Sami down the line, probably at a go-home show before WrestleMania. Probably on the Raw before WrestleMania or the SmackDown before WrestleMania. That is my prediction of when we'll probably get that. It'll be a banger. Sure. But outside of that, everything is covered tonight. I thought SmackDown tonight was a good show. I'm waiting for SmackDown next week, honestly, in Kansas City. And that is it, guys. I thought SmackDown tonight was a good show. Let me know down below in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you're new, hit the subscribe button down below. If you enjoyed SmackDown review tonight, hit that like button. Leave a comment down below your thoughts on the show tonight. And again, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below. Turn that bell, guys, for all notifications. SmackDown review from this past Friday's live on the channel, as well as Raw review this past Monday live on the channel. Link to both these videos will be in the annotation that you see on the upper hand corner of the screen, as also down below in the description. Make sure you guys are following me on social media, Twitter and TikTok, after a Chris, 2 E's on the duh, 2 S's on the Chris. My links to my social media will be down below in the description. And once again, if you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below. Turn that bell, guys, for all notifications. I will see you guys on Monday for Raw review. Until then, guys, I am Chris. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, share the video, all over social media. I'll see you guys on Monday for Raw review. Till then, guys, I am Chris. Have a blessed night. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you guys on Monday.